ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన NSR ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ NSR ఇంపల్స్.
Nitrification. Again, nitrate will reduce to form nitrite, nitrite to atmospheric nitrogen. From here to here, the total process is called denitrification. Denitrification happens with the help of denitrifying bacteria. Which is denitrifying bacteria? Nothing but Pseudomonas as well as Thiobacillus. Pseudomonas as well as Thiobacillus. These are called denitrifying bacteria. Finally, atmospheric nitrogen get back to its place. This is called totally nitrogen cycle. Let's come back to this. How ammonia converts into nitrite and nitrate. This step is very important. So, I am writing the fourth step. What is the fourth step? Nitrification. So, how this nitrification happens here? So, we take ammonia. Ammonia undergoes oxidation here. As a result of this oxidation, 2 molecules of ammonia, 3 molecules of oxygen lead to formation of 2NO2, that is nitrite. That is nitrite. Nitrite plus and 2 molecules of water. So, ammonia undergoing oxidation reacting with oxygen lead to formation of nitrite along with the formation of what? Water. Then further what happens here? Further what happens here? The 2 nitrate molecules, what you find here, NO2 minus, further get oxidized and lead to formation of what is called as nitrate. NO3 minus, this is called nitrate. So, these 2 steps happens in nitrification with the help of nitrifying bacteria. What are they? Nitrosomonas and Nitrosococcus. So, here you can write Nitrosomonas, you can write, for your understanding here you can write Nitrosococcus. So, this is 4th step and come back to this is 5th step. This is denitrification. Once again nitrate reduced to form this and finally get back what is called nitrogen. This is called nitrogen cycle. So, let's come back to the last part. What is that? Biological nitrogen fixation, the third part. What is this third part? It's nothing but atmospheric nitrogen convert into nitrite or nitrate or ammonia with the process called 3 processes. In that one of the process we have to continue our discussion. What is that? Biological nitrogen fixation. Right. So, what happens in this biological nitrogen fixation? So, here this happens as I told you in legumes or we call Fabaceae. So, in Fabaceae what happens? In legumes we can see formation of root nodules. So, what happens exactly in root nodules? For example, if I take any Fabaceae member, so if I take this is a Fabaceae member, this is nothing but taproot, what I am drawing. You know, taproot is our filaments. Cytoplasm with these 3 filaments together it's called cytoskeleton. Why it's called cytoskeleton? Because it acts as a skeletal body to hold all the cell organelles within the cell. It extends from one corner to other corner to other corner. Full cell is fully filled with proteinaceous extensions and that proteinaceous extensions act as a backbone support, act like a skeletal system to hold all the cell organelles. So, cytoplasm with these 3 is called cytoskeleton, characteristic of eukaryotic cell. That means cytoskeleton is present in animal cell and also present in case of plant cell. So here also you find cytoskeleton. Cytoplasm with proteinaceous extensions is called cytoskeleton, present in case of both plant cell as well as animal cell. Now coming to this case, in case of this animal cells, you can also find a small vacuoles, but not the bigger vacuoles. Small vacuoles or itself they are called residual vacuoles. So what is the difference here? In case of plant, it's 90% of the volume, very big volume, and remaining cell organelle occupies only 10% of the volume of the cell. In case of plant cell, coming to in case of animal cell, no bigger volume, not characteristic of having 90% of the vacuole, but here and there you find small tiny vacuoles. They are called residual vacuole or they are called smaller vacuoles. Right. Now apart from this, here in case of plants, here and there we find what are called micro bodies or small structures. They are called microbody. Essentially they play a vital role in metabolic pathways. What do you call them? Microbodies. Coming to animal cell, let's come to very important point. What is that? Centriole. Centriole is present in animal cell, absent in case of plant cell. So where it is? Let us draw somewhere here. So this is nothing but what we call a structure of the cell organelle called centriole. So here are two transverse cylindrical like structures. One cylindrical like structure is perpendicular to the other cylindrical like structure. Now this is what is called as centriole. Now this centriole is present in case of animal cell, absent in case of plant cell. Then when you see this is present, what is the importance of centriole? Centriole plays very important role in cell division. Centriole plays very important role in cell division. At the time of division of cell into two, when cell is keep on dividing, you know, in the growth mechanism, cells keep on, they divide. One cell will become two cells will divide and form 4 cells, 4 cells will divide and form 8 cells. Number of cells increases, so growth takes place. So when plant is increasing, this is a plant if you take, this is a plant if you take, at the tip you find the cells will divide and produce what are called new cells. When new cells are produced here, what's happening here? What is taking place here? Growth is taking place. Then to make the cells to divide, who is responsible? Centriole. Centrioles plays very important role in the cell division. Centrioles are present in animal cell, but centrioles are absent in case of plant cell. Right. So here and there reserve food materials are there, what you call mitochondria is there. So totally this is what very clear overview difference between the basic part of difference between the plant cell and having cell organelles, including animal cell and the cell organelles, and the common parts you find for both plant and animal cell, including the major important differences between plant cell and animal cell. So plant and animal cell will come to multicellular organisms. They are nothing but eukaryotic organisms, higher organisms. So we find very clear similarities between plant and animal. They are nothing but common topics for botany and zoology, and rest of them few differences will be there where we are going to make our biology as very strong to understand the complete structure of the living organisms, so that we can enhance the further study of, in detail study of all the concepts related to living organisms. Why we are talking about living organisms? Biology. Bio means life, living. Ology means study of living organisms. So basically the basic part of plant cell and animal cell, quickly have a recollect all the similarities between plant and animal cell and make sure that you remember the differences between plant and animal cell. So we discussed about clear differences between plant cell and animal cell. So when you have the clear basics of structural differences between plant cell and animal cell, you know, that's what we are going to discuss in detail in the branch called cytology. in the branch called cytology. Cytology itself is called cell biology. Cytology, or we call cell biology. In cytology, cell biology, what we discussed very clearly, the differences between the plant cell and animal cell. Right? Very clearly difference between plant cell and animal cell. So that will come under a particular branch of science called cell biology, or itself is called cytology. Similarly, we have importantly in the basic part of study what is called as morphology. What is there here? Morphology. So what is morphology? It's a branch of science which deals with study of external characters of the plant. So mainly here what we talk about, study of external characteristics of the plant. So here when we look at here, in this what mainly we need to understand, external characteristics of the plant. So whenever you take the plant for the study, for the complete analysis of the study, in that if you look for mainly external characters, what are the external characters of the plant? So what do we get external characters? These external characters are nothing but root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, flower and fruit. Okay. So generally if you look for the plant, generally if you take for the plant, so here I am just writing like this. So here we mainly discuss about the root system, and about the soil, what grows here it's called as shoot system. Generally when you take the germination of the plant, generally suppose a seed is sown into the soil. When the seed is sown into the soil, at the time of germination, so when you take at the time of germination, you know cell will undergo the process called cell division. Cell will divide and produce what are called roots. Okay. Cell will undergo division, and one cell gives rise to two cells, 2 will give 4, 4 will give 8, 8 to 16, like that cells will increase in number, extend and form the structure like root. Now this is what is called as radicle. Now this is what is called as, in the beginning we call this as radicle. So radicle, actually we talk, this is the radicle, a down part of the seed, it's called the radicle. So radicle is the one which gives rise to root system. Okay. So when seed is undergoing cell division, the cell which lead to formation of root system is called radicle. So this is what is called radicle, this is radicle. Radicle is the cell which undergoes cell division and lead to formation of root system. Similarly, the upper cell is called as fumule. Okay. The seed, the down cell which undergoes cell division lead to formation of root system, it's called radicle. Radicle will undergo cell division and form root system. Similarly, the upper cell what you find in the seed above the soil, it's called fumule. Fumule is the one which undergoes cell division. On cell division, it lead to formation of shoot system. Radicle gives rise to root system, fumule gives rise to shoot system. Okay, radicle I am telling here undergoes cell division, gives rise to root system. Fumule is the one undergoes cell division and gives rise to shoot system. So, what are the two cells which plays very important role at the time of seed germination are nothing but radicle and fumule. Radicle is the down cell, gives rise to root system. Fumule is the upper cell, gives rise to shoot system. Now, seed upon germination, it gives rise to a plantlet with a root system and shoot system. Now, what is morphology here? It is a branch of science, deals with study of external characters of the plant. What are external characters? Root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, flower and fruit are called external characters. Now, let us see here. Now, here when plant is growing, so this is the tip. This is the place where growth occurs. This is a place where growth occurs. Now, this particular tip is called apical meristem or apical bud. Itself is called terminal bud. A tip of the shoot system where growth occurs, it is called apical bud or terminal bud. Okay. Now, we see from the place where there may be formation of leaf or the place where there may be formation of the branch. Okay. There also growth occurs. Now, this laterally what the bud is present, it is called lateral bud or it is called axillary bud. Okay, what I am trying to say? At the tip growth occurs. So, what did we study here? One cell will undergo cell division, lead to formation of two cells. Two cells will divide and lead to formation of four. Four will divide and lead to formation of 8 cells. So, here growth occurs. The place where growth occurs, here there is a presence of a bud called apical bud, itself is called as terminal bud. Similarly, lateral side of the stem if you look at, we find a bud that is called lateral bud or itself is called axillary bud. Axillary bud gives rise to maybe the leaves or maybe the branches. Now, on the shoot system if you observe clearly, the place where there is a formation of leaf, the place from where there is a formation of leaf, it is called node. Okay, I repeat, the place where there is a formation of leaf, it is called as a node. Right. So, here there is one more node here that leads to leaf. Now, similarly here, now if you look at the structure, particularly here, of course, you can see that here it may lead to formation of the bud and that leads to flower. When plant is completely developed, somewhere it leads to formation of the fruit. Right. So, when flower exists in bud condition, these are buds. Now, these buds itself is also called inflorescence. Okay, I repeat again, the buds what are present here, arrangement of buds is called inflorescence. I repeat again, arrangement of buds before converting into flower, arrangement of buds itself is called inflorescence. Right. Now, this is nothing but the stem, shoot system we have. Now, let us talk about the leaf. Let us take, this is nothing but leaf. Right. The stalk of the leaf, it is called petiole. Stalk of the leaf itself is called petiole. The petiole is nothing but the stalk of the leaf. Right. Then here, this is nothing but leaf. Leaf contains the surface area. The margin of the leaf, it is called leaf margin or itself is called leaf blade. Okay, the margin of the leaf, what we find here itself is called leaf margin or leaf blade. And in the center of the leaf, when you observe, a thicker one, what we find, the liner itself is called as midrib or itself is called midvein. Okay, so here midrib or the midvein is present. What is there in the midrib or midvein? Clearly remember, there is one point here. So here there is one point here on the midrib. When you clearly observe, inside the midrib we find vascular bundle. Inside the midrib, what we find, it's called vascular bundle. What is this vascular bundle? Vascular bundle contains xylem and phloem. Okay, midrib contains what? Arrangement of vascular bundles like this. What are these called? Vascular bundles. Now these vascular bundles, they contain xylem and phloem. So when you cut the midrib, centermost green thick part is called midrib. If you take any leaf, if you observe so closely, within the midrib, if you cut and if you see, you can see the structures called vascular bundles. What are these vascular bundles? Inside they contain xylem and phloem. What is xylem? Xylem is the one which conducts water. Xylem is the one which conducts water. Phloem is the one which conducts food. Okay, so here xylem takes water to the leaf and phloem takes the food. Right. Xylem takes the water and phloem takes the food. So they are called as a vascular bundle. They are called as what? Vascular bundles. Now this midrib again further divide into many small subunits and these are called veins. These are called as what? Veins. So midrib will bring the water and food and supply to the veins. And veins and again supply to the more smaller one on either side like this. Simply you can draw with one line. So these are called veinlets. Right. So again I will draw the same structure here. Just have an observation here. So what is this called? This is called petiole. What is petiole? Leaf stalk is called petiole. Right. Now what is this called? This is called midrib. Midrib contain what? Vascular bundle. Inside xylem and phloem is there. Xylem conducts water and phloem conducts food. Xylem supplies water to the part of the leaf and through veins. So these are called veins. Veins are further divided into some small fine structures. They are like this. And these are called veinlets. These are called veinlets like this. They are like this. They are called as what? Veinlets. So what is the story of midrib here? Midrib collects food and water through xylem and phloem, where xylem and phloem are present in the vascular bundle and supply food and water to what? To the leaf. Leaf contain what? Leaf contains mesophyll cells. Where mesophyll cells are present? Leaf surface is the one which contain arrangement of mesophyll cell. On the leaf surface we find the cells. These cells are called mesophyll cells. Within the mesophyll cell you find substances called as chloroplast. So this is a mesophyll cell. Inside I am drawing dotted lines. What are these dotted lines? This mesophyll cell contains chloroplast. So this is a mesophyll cell. Mesophyll cell is a place where photosynthesis takes place. Mesophyll cell need food and water. Who will supply? Vascular bundles. Inside the mesophyll cell, you can see the chloroplast is present. Chloroplast contains the pigment called as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is nothing but the pigment and which makes the parts to appear green in color. Green parts of the plant are mainly because of chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment makes the plant to appear green in color, and where the chlorophyll pigment is present, it's present within the chloroplast. Where the chloroplast is present, within the mesophyll cell. Where mesophyll cell is present, within the leaf surface, and on the leaf surface to the mesophyll cell, who will supply food and water is nothing but vascular bundles. Where these vascular bundles are present means within the midrib, within the midrib. So, these are nothing but what we call external parts of the plant. So, whenever you study clearly what are the types of the root and what is the types of leaves and what type of flowers and what type of what you call buds called arrangement called inflorescence. When you talk all external characteristics of the plant, overall this constitutes a separate branch of science. It's called as what? Morphology. Morphology speaks about morphological characters. What are morphological characters? It's nothing but all the external organs what we see with our naked eye are called external organs. These are the external organs for the plant. Then can we always study the external parts of the plant? Definitely no. So there is another branch called as anatomy. So anatomy is a pure specialization, is a branch of life science which speaks about the study of internal characters of the plant or internal structure of plant. Okay, so what I am trying to say, morphology means we study about external characteristics of the plant. What is anatomy? Anatomy is nothing but the branch of the life science which deals with what? Internal structure of the plant. Internally plant is made up of what? So, inside the stem, if you take the cutting of the stem, cutting of the root, you know that generally the living organism is made up of cells and tissues, right. So, if you look at what is this internal structure? We are discussing what is called internal structure of the plant. Study of internal structure is a branch called anatomy. Generally, if you take any living organism, anatomy contains what is the basic part called as cell. Now, group of cells lead to formation of tissue. Okay, when group of cells join together, it lead to the formation of what is called tissue. When group of tissue join together, it lead to formation of what is called organs. Organs join together and lead to formation of what is called as organ system. Organ systems join together and lead to formation of what is called as a living organism. A living organism. So when you look at this cell and cell, group of cells lead to formation of tissue, group of tissues join together and form organs, all organs join together form what is called organ system, and finally it leads to what is called living organism. So in case of plants, we find a different type of tissues. What are the different type of tissues we find? We find three types. What are they? Parenchyma cells and collenchyma cells, and then followed by sclerenchyma cells. What are the three types we find? different type of tissues we find: parenchyma cells, chorenchyma cells and sclerenchyma cells. In this, if you look at parenchyma and chorenchyma are living cells. This is also living cells. Then sclerenchyma cells constitutes the dead tissue. What's the meaning of that? What is the meaning of living cell and dead cell here? Living cell perform all metabolic activities. Living cell is involved. What are metabolic activities? You know, respiration, photosynthesis, what is called absorption, right? If you take in animals, we say digestion, respiration, locomotion, moving from one place to other place. This all are nothing but metabolic activities are taken care within the living cells. Then in your mind, does we have a chance to have even dead tissue at one corner of a plant? Yes, definitely. Plants also contain dead tissue. Death tissue means initially they are living cells, later they loses water and they convert it into dead cells, dead tissue. And what for this dead tissue is present in plant? What is the use of it? Mostly the dead tissue called sclerenchyma, mostly it provides mechanical support. Mostly it provides what is called a mechanical support. You know, the plant contains cork. Cork is nothing but a dead tissue. Cork, you know, generally we say beradu. Plants, huge plants will have the cork. The brown color one what you find on the stem, on the huge trunk, right? So, the generally it is called as what? Cork. So, that cork is actually a dead tissue, but it provides mechanical support and protects the stem from surrounding environment. So, you can make it here. So, parenchyma, chorenchyma, sclerenchyma are the cells and which are present within the tissue. When you study these parenchyma, chorenchyma, sclerenchyma, when they are present in different parts of the plant, they perform different metabolic functions. When they perform different metabolic functions altogether, that makes the organs to function well, that forms the organ system and finally that constitutes the living cell.